So, we all know what's coming up on Sunday. Another rousing rendition of Bears football. It's some old NFC Central, now NFC North rivalry action. The Chicago Bears traveling to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. And you know the Bears are ready for this one. Gutless Getsy has his playbook ready. Put him up, put him up. I'm the offensive coordinator. Put him up. I got courage. 32 halfback dive. 2nd and 10 halfback dive. Put him up. I got a running game. I got courage. I got courage for my running game. Woo! And don't forget about Matt Nagafloos. He's going to be ready too with his cowardly decisions as well. There's lots of chicken shit football. That is what we know as, affectionately, Bears football. And of course, Bears football certainly struck this past Sunday as the Giants beat the Bears 20-12, and the Bears offense, well, looked like what you would expect a Bears-led offense to look like. Bad! It's interesting. You got some media members, some of the QB gurus, take that with a grain of salt. They're saying that Justin Fields looked better in week 4. And let's be very clear here. If he looked better in week 4, I didn't see it. If there was, it wasn't much. And that just speaks to how low of a bar has been set by his performance and this team's passing attack in the first 4 games of the season. They've scored 64 points on offense in 4 games. They're 32nd in the league in passing yards per game. There's only one team that's averaging fewer points per game than the Bears, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. That's rough. Justin Fields, through 4 games before the season, I talked about 4,000 passing yards or bust. Even knowing that this is Bears football that we're talking about, and they brought in an nincompoop like Gutless Gutsy. Put him up. I like offensive balance. I like runs to the right on the first downs, runs to the left on 2nd down, and then a run up the middle, halfback dive on 3rd down. Put him up, put him up. I know that wasn't realistic, but even 3,000 yards seems like a pipe dream at this point, because through 4 games, Justin Fields has a whopping 471 yards passing. 471! 471! That means he's averaging 117.75 passing yards per game. Not a half, a game. Insane. Not surprisingly, because we're talking about Bears football, they're 2-2, but let us not get it twisted. There is absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing to be excited about. They could run the ball well. Whoopity-doo! But they're incredibly predictable and overall pathetic on offense because they can't pass the freaking ball. They don't score points. They play chicken shit, gutless, gutsy, put 'em up football in the red zone. So it's the same old crap you've always seen. Why would you get excited about that? And defensively, they're incredibly bad against the run. They're the worst run defense in the league through 4 games. And they're struggling to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Ryan pulls with that stroke of genius, says, why would you want to trade Robert Quinn when his value might be highest? Why not keep him and bring him back and let him drive his value to the ground? Oh, that's Bears football for you. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings probably have a little bit more reason for optimism, although your optimism should probably always be tempered when you have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. But let's be fair to the Vikings here. Instead of the Bears, who hired a defensive-minded head coach, they bring in, talking about the Vikings, an offensive-minded head coach in Kevin O'Connell. What a novel concept. You know, it's an offense-first league, so why not have offense-first leadership at the helm? And the Vikings are 3-1, coming off of last Sunday's win in London against the Saints, where they had to wait for a double doink on Will Lutz's 61-yard field goal. But more importantly for the Vikings, outside of just the 3-1 record, is when you talk about one of the keys to being a playoff team and being in a good position come December and January, is that you handle business within your division. And right now, the Vikings are in the driver's seat in some ways. They're 3-1. 2 of their wins have come against the Packers and Lions, and they got a shot here on Sunday to go to 4-1 with a victory against each of their divisional opponents. Like, really puts them in a strong position early on. Kirk Cousins is on pace for another 4,000-plus yard passing season. For Bears fans that aren't aware of what that means, what that means is that you have a quarterback that using his arm to throw the football has gained more than 4,000 yards. I know as a Bears fan, you've never seen a quarterback do that, so it's confusing. I get it. Like it's a crazy concept. It almost seems like hashtag fake news, but it's real. It happens, and even Kirk Cousins does it. Justin Jefferson, has the makings of another monster season. Feels like one of those 1,700 yard receiving seasons with probably 9 to 11 touchdowns, some crazy number like that. Like, that dude's a stud. And he is a marquee elite NFL wide receiver. Their running game has been lagging with Dalvin Cook a little bit early on. Like, he's been efficient in terms of yards per carry, but overall proficiency on the ground is not what you would maybe expect. But this has absolutely the potential for a get-right game for the Vikings going up against the worst run defense in the league. The Vikings defense, on the other hand, is still bad, but perhaps this is also a get-right game for them. Or maybe this is a bit of a get-right game for the Bears offense. Like, the Vikings defense is not good. They can be had. And you got to go after them and you got to attack them. When you look at the matchup come Sunday, the injury report, the Vikings injury report seems relatively clear in terms of marquee names that could be out. I'm recording this early on Friday, so some news may change here in the next day or so, but it sure seems like we're destined to not have Jalen Johnson play on Sunday, which feels like a big loss when you're going up against a Justin Jefferson. I'm unsure right now about the status of David Montgomery, Justin Jones, Ryan Griffin. Maybe all three of them are out. Maybe one or two of them is able to play. But the loss of Montgomery, like, out of the three of them, I would look at the one that probably hurts the most might be Ryan Griffin, frankly, or even Justin Jones. I think right now you're cool without David Montgomery. I'm just saying. This is a matchup that is really big for both teams, but in different ways. For the Vikings, it's a chance to go 4-1, start off 3-0 in your division. Man, that puts you in a really powerful position when you talk about, trying to win the NFC North, get a playoff spot at a bare minimum, perhaps even getting a home playoff game. A 4-1 start with a new head coach would feel like a really good achievement for the Minnesota Vikings. Meanwhile, for the Chicago Bears, again, I'm going to talk about the number one goal of this season is not wins and losses. It's the development of Justin Fields. And through 4 games, everybody involved deserves an absolute raging effing F. Justin Fields has sucked. The play calling has sucked. The team, the offense built around Justin Fields sucks. So that means you give F grades to Gutless Getsy. Put him up. I got an A+1 game. Put him up. Run the ball. Play good defense. That's how you win. Best football. You blame Ryan Poles because he went into this season knowing that, this is a key development year for Justin Fields and did very little to help him. And then you look like dumb dicks like Matt Nagy-Flus and you say, Kevin Jenkins is probably, especially relative to his position and what he's tasked with, the best offensive lineman the Bears have. So, of course, you've been rotating him out of the lineup every week because you're a dumb dick. Who does that? You're supposed to be a rebuilding team, so you take out the young player who also happens to be the best player on the entire offensive line. Like, who the fuck does that? Who the fuck thinks that make any sense? I can't believe Eberflus isn't getting more shit for this, because that's really moronically stupid. If there's any benefit here when you talk about the Whitehair injury, is that it's going to force Patrick somewhere else in the offensive line, so that way the Bears can keep Tevin Jenkins entrenched at right guard where the hell he needs to stay the rest of the year. But this is what we're talking about. It's the same old crap. But there is a chance here, because the Vikings defense is very good, that at least the Bears offense can get some rhythm. And the rhythm does not come with the goddamn running game. Stop that. All these, they run the ball really well, and they're near butt-naked last in the league in frickin' time of possession offensively, because all that running the ball doesn't freaking matter. You have to put the ball in the air via the passing game in order to keep control of the ball, to really run the clock, to be able to, by God, score some damn points! I don't care if Justin Fields goes out there and attempts 50 passes and throws 5 picks on Sunday. In fact, I would rather have that, because at least I would say he's going out there and learning under fire. The chicken shit approach and mentality and standpoint they've taken here isn't working. It's not working for him. It's not working for the offense. It's not working for us fans that have to suffer through this boring-ass Bears football. The only thing that concerns me about this game on Sunday in terms of, picking, I have no doubts to me the Vikings are going to win this game. Like, yes, Nagy kind of owned the Vikings, but that was also the Vikings under Mike Zimmer, and he was a fool too. So now you've got what appears to be competent head coach in Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. You've got a vastly superior offense. You know, the defensive advantage the Bears might enjoy is not nearly as much as it's probably going to make it out to be, because part of what helps the Bears statistically from a defense standpoint is that opposing teams know they don't have to be as aggressive on offense. They don't have to take as many chances because the Bears' offense sucks so much cock. So much of it. The Bears' offense is like a freaking glory hole receptacle. I mean, that's how much cock they take in. They're horrible. So other teams can play it closer to the vest, which skews the defensive stats for the Bears. This defense is not that good, hence the last place ranking against the run. The only thing that concerns me is that because the Vikings defense is really bad too, the Vikings are 7.5-point favorites right now. I'm picking the Vikings to win this game. The one thing that gives me some hesitancy and pause is like, that 7.5-point spread, is that too big? Could the Bears keep it a little closer? They certainly could. I don't envision that's going to happen. I'm going to say final score in this game, something like Vikings 27, Bears 16. But again, when it comes to the Bears, I don't care about the wins and losses this year. And anybody that's focused on that is thinking about this wrong. See some goddamn air. Get creative with how you get in the passing game going early and often. Mix shit up. You set up the run by throwing. You don't set up the pass by running. That is dumb dick dated logic that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. And frankly, never did. So stop it. But it's a big chance for the Vikings, a big spot, and I expect them to take advantage on Sunday and move to 4-1 and be in the catbird seat in this NFC North division.